Welcome back to Traces of hexanitrohexaazaisowurtzatane. Yeah, first try. But what the fuck is that? And what's that in English? Also known as CL-20. It's a powerful explosive developed by the military. I knew it! We're all gonna explode! Stop jumping to unsupported conclusions. This amount is too insignificant to pose any actual danger. Not even visible to the eye. Interesting. I think the mere presence of an explosive like that proves my point, though. Damaged wire was likely cut and connected to a fair amount of this CL-20 stuff. I think it was rigged to explode if someone used its mechanism. But we were just told that there wasn't actually much of this CL-20 here. Maybe not explode, level a building, but maybe like explode, start a fire? Cause severe damage? Someone clearly removed it at some point along with the batteries. Also probably that. That also probably helps. Mrs. Holden must have gained knowledge at some point that this place contained deadly traps. Can't ask her now, but it's likely some kind of sweep already took place at some point. Can't know for sure. We can't know if the FBI was included in that. If they were, they clearly didn't think they got everything. That's probably all this will be good for. Okay, goodbye, incidents. I see. That makes some amount of sense. We note that this increases the odds the plaintiff caught wind of this as well. If she was present for whatever search her mother performed, then odds are decent she managed to find something, given her cleaning prowess. I understand what you are trying to get at, Miss Chase. It does appear the plaintiff obtaining a special substance isn't too improbable now. You cleared up this whole curse business along the way. Remarkable. Uh-oh. What the hell? This is rigged. This is you taking on the wrong gamble. Again. But you still have no proof for this stupid poison you say I used. Completely made up, is what it is. Consider how little I've been allowed to investigate. I think I've given an extraordinary amount of supporting circumstantial evidence. We've got means, motive, and opportunity. Miss Chase has managed to give a reasonable response to any objections made by the plaintiff. This woman shot my mother. Does any of this even matter? It doesn't. Even if there was a poison, the eyewitness said mother was still standing when she got shot. Clearly this is still on her, no? As I said, can't sue me for damages if she was gonna die anyway. You are both incorrect. Oh. Miss Chase, the law does not make an exception for killing someone who is going to die anyway. Got that right. That does not mean that this line of inquiry doesn't matter at all, Miss Holden. If the victim was indeed poisoned, that is attempted murder at the bare minimum. Whether the plaintiff attempted to murder the victim is immaterial to this trial. The only thing that matters is whether Aurelia was the one who caused the victim's wrongful death. Feel free to waste your time with a criminal trial on that matter later. You are unfortunately wrong as well, Miss Preston. Yes, get... double middle fingers to you, Victoria. Depending on how this poison affected the victim, it could have been a substantial factor in her death. It may have clouded her judgment or weakened her in other ways. In that case, the poisoner would share liability for this death. I advise you to use your brain and remember who is on trial. At the moment, we're advising the judge. Advising the judge. Aurelia's guilt is neither overturned nor diminished by this, regardless. That may be so. However, this does not change that the question of Miss Holden's guilt is of significance to this trial. There is a statute called the share rule in inheritance law. This rule exists to prevent any criminals to profit from their crime. A person cannot inherit from someone they killed. Certainly, they cannot file a lawsuit on behalf of the deceased. If Miss Holden indeed contributed to the victim's death, then this whole trial may be illegitimate. Slayer rule, huh? I like the sound of that. Anyway, this is the break I needed. I can make this stick. This entire lawsuit will be invalid. You can worry about any criminal charges against me later. I'm not allowed to sue? That's your next dirty tactic? Can't say I knew it worked like that, but I'll take it. You can't prove anything, though. Isn't until proven guilty, right? Not in civil court. There's no way this poison can be established beyond reasonable doubt.
Objection!
This is a civil trial, Miss Holden. Now, correct me if I'm off here, but inheritance disputes are handled in civil courts as well. Does the Slayer rule require proving things beyond reasonable doubt, Your Honor? Your guess is correct. Just like in this trial, all that is needed is a preponderance of the evidence. Fair and reasonable. I can get behind that. So, we just established there were dangerous substances circulating in this lighthouse. We can't prove the exact one. We got the victim showing inexplicable symptoms. A sweat on her face. On a side note, the way the victim got my attention was by coughing, which could have been intentional, but could have been the symptoms of a poison manifesting. Finally, we got the fact that the victim got a cut briefly before the crime. There's pretty much no chance poison got in any other way. Her stomach was empty. And the only other person with access to the floor where she got cut was the plaintiff. Let me ask you, Miss Holden. Oh boy, we're gonna have to ask. How's that for preponderance of the evidence? You were waiting for that time. Was it? Weren't you? I can't fold. Not here. I'm used to losing. I don't mind it. But this trial is something I absolutely have to turn into a win. I won't back down. We got her guilt established. She's guilty. Sentence her. I can't do that just yet. Miss Chase may be guilty, but as I explained, there are some things that still need to be looked into. Completely blind? How can't you see her bluff? This can't be enough evidence without the actual poison. Forget it. This trial has been a farce for a while now. Never formally accused you. I just pointed out the facts. There are certain questions here that may have bearing on the validity of this trial. Like the second murder, which you keep dismissing as irrelevant. Could it have been related to what happened to the victim in that room earlier? You also ought to call Mr. Cover to the stand. If this poison exists, he may be able to confirm some things about it. Invalid trial. This has to be a joke. Do something, Miss Preston. What am I paying you for? Seriously? You have the audacity to address me with this? Do you want me to enlighten you what caused this situation? It was your mind-boggling decision to testify. You weren't even capable. Just simply do as you were told. Oh god, that's a... You are awful at treating her like her mother. It's clear why your mother considered you a disappointment. Jesus, Victoria! Damn. No, please. I'm not incompetent. This is my last chance to show her I can do something right. It would honestly be a good lesson to abandon you here. You are quite fortunate that I won't take that course of action. Really, it needs me more. No, really. Don't stick around just for me. Take it you're going to oppose my perfectly reasonable requests, then. Naturally, the whole basis for this derailment is your asinine poison hypothesis. I'm going to obliterate that excuse of a theory immediately. It's obnoxiously impossible to falsify, but trivial enough to point out how absurd it is. Consider this. How would Miss Holden ensure flawless timing? Poison conveniently started taking effect right as the victim was inside the study with you. What would guarantee that? This whole plan would have been ruined if she collapsed earlier or later. Well, if you roughly knew how long the poison needed to start working, you think poisons will always take the exact same amount of time to take effect. And if that were true, there was no guarantee the victim would keep scheduled exactly to the minute. Maybe it's all improv. Maybe it's all improv. Like, did she run her own I forget, did she run her own company? Or is she an agent of a bigger company? If she was an agent of a bigger company, and she dies in the course of doing this auction from no apparent cause, then Susan could sue them for her wrongful death in the line of work and get the case. Just so happens that Melanie had her goings on with Aurelia, maybe recognized Aurelia from whatever their mutual involvement was with Dr. Lead, chased down Aurelia. Maybe the poison made her try and kill Aurelia, or not, but then Lead died from the poison. Or from Aurelia shooting her. And then boom, Susan has her lawsuit target, and she's sort of playing off the cuff here. But I suppose if she wanted to do this immediately, they'd need some target. Maybe they were going to sue Aldous. Because the target of the lawsuit would have to be here for this whole recruit the judge and the prosecutor plan to work. No matter who the defendant is, the defendant would have to be here. What if she moved things along too quickly or too slowly? She had to be in the study. She had to be in the study at the precise time due to the TV trick. But again, if the TV trick is really a thing, then yeah. Then validates everything I just said. Because then they were planning to do it in the TV room, and there they are. That's still a large window. TV shows don't really run for a minute. More importantly, the knife could have been fetched at any time prior to this. What if she got it at the start of the auction instead? Those are still not even the largest, most blatant issues with that theory. What guarantee was there that Mrs. Holden would cut her finger in the first place? The edges of the case could have been sharpened. Don't embarrass yourself. There are ways to lift the case without even touching the edges. Maybe the victim had a tendency to lift up things in a specific way. Okay. Victoria's actually getting out of weak points here. And about this timing issues, well, the plaintiff is a bit of a gambler, right? Pathetic, as expected. Give you a much more plausible explanation you won't be able to disprove. Van Lead, correct? You claim 2 people fell victim to traps he left behind in this place. Precisely nothing is stopping this case from being the exact same situation. Since this poison is conveniently unknown, we cannot rule out it would retain its toxic properties for years. This explanation, the issue is, with timing the effect of making sure she would cut herself vanish. There was nothing to ensure. It was an accident, not a plan. You say only my client could have planted the poison. Dr. Lead could have planted it when he lived in this place. Now you have precisely nothing to still hold against her. Ugh. Oof. We're getting back to what my original thoughts were here. Unfortunately, our continued success relies on pushing this culpability of Susan and getting the lawsuit thrown out. Perhaps she actually noticed the issues. Oh, that certainly sounds like it would make more sense. Perhaps Miss Preston's proposed scenario was more likely after all. Okay, but what if we consider the second murder in this context? Surely it'd make much more sense if Mr. Garrett was killed because he discovered some crucial evidence. Compared to me killing him as a distraction, that sounds much more plausible to me. Surely there's still enough doubt here to look into that. Indeed, the second incident cannot be dismissed so easily. It also might... Victoria could also realistically dismiss it as another Van Lead trap. You must be out of your mind, Judge. Don't entertain her antics. It was all Lillian's doing. Anyone with average IQ can put it together. I'd not be surprised if she planted the victim's blood on the display case as well. Also, we would waste our time with it once Aurelia came forward with this poison lunacy. Let me be honest, Miss Princeton. Your explanation for this second murder is extremely lacking. You want the court to accept that Miss Chase is some kind of ruthless mastermind twisting the facts. Nothing shown by you so far indicates that the defendant acted in such a way. In fact, everything points to her fully cooperating after firing the shot. She surrendered her gun immediately, and there are no signs that she tried to tamper with any evidence. Your theory relies on the defendant acting on some kind of plan. However, it's doubtful if she even intended to kill the victim. To me, she looks like no more than an unlucky thief who got pressured into using her gun. Oh, hell yeah, base judge. She does not strike me as someone so desperate that she'd arrange a second murder. Look, that my perfect cooperation hasn't gone unappreciated. Aurelia, just shut up and take it. Face it, Victoria, you can't even prove I had any criminal intent here. How is shooting the victim not criminal intent, you joker? You... Well, technically, you still didn't fully prove I shot at all. At least if we consider the TV show could have played a shot. Even the witness only saw a flash. Can't believe you're all still this oblivious. You've done nothing but stall this court with nonsense. Arguing your case in court is not comparable to actively obstructing justice. What about the key? What about the key? It's clearly hidden that key to the study to make it look like it couldn't have been her. Oh wow, you were talking about the key you haven't found yet. Certainly it must have vanished from the scene somehow. Clearly it couldn't have been the defendant that hid it. She was searched. Your client, on the other hand, already admitted to tampering with evidence at the scene. I will admit this is very poetic because Victoria's resorting to the same shit she was criticizing us for. In order to remove the key that should have been with the victim, she's a much more likely candidate. Yeah, and who knows what other evidence may have been tampered with. This isn't real. Your arguments are starting to backfire. Isn't it lovely? Court will require testimony from Mr. Koba and Dr. Hellinger. Please step up to the stand. No, I refuse to let you have this. If I can show that she hid the key, that would demonstrate her criminal intent, would it not? How stubborn can you be? Let's just stop ignoring the second murder already. Are you saying you found the key, Miss Preston? It sure didn't sound like it. If you can prove it was Miss Chase who hid it, that certainly would put things in a new light. At the very least, it would show that the defendant is not above tampering with evidence, and was clearly trying to deflect guilt. I didn't find the key yet, but deducing it should be trivial for me. Well, this should be good, at least. Aurelia definitely hid the key. It wasn't on her person, or in the room. Therefore, there's only one place where she could have hidden it. What if? Yes, there's still an appropriately S9 hiding place for the likes of you. We're still waiting. Well, if it's... I really have to suggest this. Do you have an argument or not, Miss Preston? Mr. Preston? She ate it. It's the only logical conclusion. The key must be small like the other one, so she'd be able to eat it. You cannot disprove it. Behold, the only possible explanation for the locked room and a clear sign of your guilt. Wow. I mean, it can't be disproven, but, it's quite sad. A sweet desperation. Excellent. Actually, I think we have an easy way to disprove this nonsense, Your Honor. Is there a bathroom? Is there a bathroom? This stool should be able to prove I didn't need any keys. Oh, the metal detector! We go to the metal detector at the entrance, it should be able to pick up on the key. That's not happening. I've got that anything involving the elevator use will just be denied. Fair enough, but there's also something on this floor that will get the job done. This tool should be able to prove that I didn't need any keys. Hunt? Colleen, come scan me with your thing. X-ray me? I heard of Dr. Hellinger using some kind of X-ray on my friend. Any decent investigation kit would probably feature a metal detector as well. Better do the honors, come up with nothing, and we can move on from this. This is making me feel nostalgic. Although the last person wasn't quite that eager to be checked. And for the last person, we had a very old school metal detector. Very well, Dr. Hellinger, please put Miss Priston's theory to the test. I swear to God, if we turn up something, I will be so pissed. Well, let them know how correct I am. What are you trying to accomplish with this? Let's put her out of her misery. I performed an appropriate check of the defendant's body as per her insistence. I'm sorry, what? The key was found inside her. There you go. Now let's... I must have misheard. What is something more productive? As I said, what in the world are you trying to accomplish, Aurelia Chase? What? What? There's a metallic, key-shaped object present in your gastrointestinal tract. If anyone would believe you feigning ignorance now, what's her goal? Okay, what the fuck? My God. What are you? This isn't the time for jokes. Did Victoria tell you to say that? I never joke, Aurelia Chase. The one that needs to stop joking around is objectively you. This has got to be a lie. Oh, great. Wonderful. The fool has finally gained some self-awareness. What a fitting face, Aurelia. Remain like that for a while, if you would. One moment, please. Am I hearing this right? Miss Chase actually ate the key? I didn't. Is this some kind of... Is this made up? Check me again, Dr. Hellinger. You assume I wouldn't already have double-checked this? I can show you the images if you want. A key-shaped object wouldn't turn up on them by mistake. But what the hell does that mean? I will assist you, and the slower shut up. Naturally means I was correct about you hiding the key. Res ispa loquitur, the evidence speaks for itself. Only a guilty mind would take that course of action. We technically haven't yet determined if the object is the key we were looking for. You truly never stop being tediously precise. It is the right key this time, guaranteed. There's only one way to know with certainty. The key must be tested on the study door. It does not look like we are in any position to do that right now. That may be true at the moment, Your Honor. But time will change that. Do I even want to know what you're getting at? What goes in will eventually come back out. Please don't make me clarify more than necessary. A truly suitable final destination for you and your asinine arguments. This is getting a little long in the tooth. Certainly must ensure the key fits the lock so even the average observer is satisfied. Lead the way, Aurelia. To the bathroom. Hard pass. You're definitely not coming. Your struggle is only becoming more futile. We have no other choice to confirm the evidence. Naturally cannot leave you unobserved, or who knows what might happen to that key. I regret to say it, Miss Chase, but it seems it has to happen in some form. Let me take care of this. There's no need for Victoria Priston's presence. It will take longer if there are any factors present that make the defendant less comfortable. As if we haven't been quite considered enough. Very well, the court will leave this procurement of this evidence to Dr. Hellinger. And if anyone's in possession of something that may help speed up the process, please inform me. I was dragged to the bathroom despite my protests. I thought it was one of the most humiliating experiences of my life. The silver lining was that it gave me time to think about this ridiculous development. One thing is incredibly clear now. I refused to fully accept it before. I'm being set up. Someone out there wants to really see me go down for this crime. Yet no matter how hard I think about this, I can't make heads or tails of it. Like... It's the same thing that I got on. I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name of it, but it was the case that I absolutely despised with where you played as Maya. And we had a whole long trial segment that amounted to literally nothing. Where everything we tried to do got shot down, and like the core plot behind it didn't grab me, so the futility of the actual gameplay killed it for me. The core of the plot had me for the longest time, but the whole feudal struggle gaining no ground has gotten long enough in the tooth that this is starting to get grating. I'm starting to not enjoy this. The justification for this has better be damn fucking good to bring me back. I've rarely felt so violated. The key somehow found its way into my body without my knowledge. Everyone has gone insane. That's the only explanation I can think of. That's why Mrs. Holden attacked me. I guess Lillian really killed Mr. Garnd. I swallowed this key and then forgot all about it. Woohoo! This tower is turning us all into lunatics. This really is a Lighthouse of Lunacy, isn't it? I'm gonna figure out how to think straight again soon. Else there'll be no way for me to claw my way out of this pit. So what the fuck do we even do from here? What the fuck do any of us do with any of this? I was back in session. I was informed that we have the evidence now. Correct. Key has been retrieved more or less without incident. Very good. You confirm it to be the key to the study. Yes, I tried it on the door of our crime scene. Key was able to unlock it. Note that despite its old-fashioned look, the key contains a microchip. Sullivan guarantees that it is unique. Duplicating it will prove impossible. Similar to modern car keys. Simply copying the shape would not be sufficient. Well, that makes things simple. Court accepts this key into evidence. With that, it appears to be proven that Miss Chase actively tried to cover up her crime. I know this looks really, really bad, Your Honor. Is it enough to completely ignore the second murder after all I've shown?
Seriously?
Hope is the confusion of the desire for a thing with its proper shut up. Dillinger, you may present the other piece of evidence now. Oh, great. More shit held back. Yay. No testimony, understood? Just the evidence. Yay. Well, this was objectively overdue. There can't still be more. This isn't really a new piece of evidence. Rather, it's a clarification for my report regarding Mr. Garn's crime scene. You'd been happily circulating theories of an unknown poison on the display case, after all. All right. I did warn you this haphazard approach of yours was going to backfire sooner or later. On this account, I submit this clarified, yay, updated autopsy report. It is turning me into a lunatic. And categorically rules out the presence of any unknown substances on the display case. Yay. Broken before he died. Only Holden's blood. No other traces found in the case. Temple baton. Side of extendable parts has traces of blood. Small ink stain. Okay, ink. Then, basis for the poison hypothesis has been completely disproved. Oh, yay, more! Yay! More going backwards. We were going backwards for 3 videos, or many videos now. Wow, how can you do this? This poison would be in your database. The whole point is that you're not able to detect it. Even an unknown poison can't ignore the laws of physics. Regardless of its composition, it has to actually exist as physical matter. A dead body is one thing. It's hard to divide the individual components for analysis. On a smooth surface like the glass of a display case, however, it's easy to determine if there is anything at all, identifiable or not. Of course, I analyzed this one quite thoroughly, given the presence of Melanie Holden's blood. Therefore, I can be as good as certain that no unknown substances were present. Be quiet now. I said no testimony. Are you actually serious, Victoria? Seems that's it for the defendant's argument. Still, Miss Preston, why didn't you present this fact when we first started talking about it, all this? Because I like being fucking dramatic. Did not expect the court would entertain or asinine idea for such an extended period of time. Fortunately, it was too late by the time I realized I put too much faith in it. You didn't cover a new lead about those 2 unsolved cases, did I not? Ah, yes, you did. Yay. Ray. Fuck you. It arguably wasn't entirely worthless. I solved those, no thanks to you. Why don't you just admit you always have to hide evidence instead of playing fair? I have a superior suggestion, Aurelia. Stop basing your theories on possibilities that you have absolutely no supporting evidence for. Your archaic approach is the true reason you always end up back exactly where you began. God damn it! I had to put my brain on complete overdrive to solve those tasked cases and fit it all together. Actually, it looked like I was going somewhere by the end, even if it seemed like a long shot at first. Now, the way out of this trial, the reward I worked so hard for, slipped through my fingers again. Screw you for doing this. It was bound to be a reaction once I started putting in a moderate amount of effort. You simply have no choice but to hate me, because I'm right about everything and you're not. Not really, I just hate you in general. Please remain civil, both of you. It's quite all right. There's nothing offensive about the final whimpers of a lost mind. I'll allow myself to put her out of her misery and deliver the checkmate. Oh boy. Please get fucked. Please fuck right off my screen. And don't come back. I'm really tired of you. Yay. We have to listen to you more. I'm more intellectual. After a single gunshot was heard, people immediately rushed to the stairs. The source was a locked room. The only key was inside, so the door had to be broken down. Inside, we found a gunshot victim and a defendant, gun in hand. The door was the only viable entrance and exit to the room. Therefore, nobody else could have committed this crime. Well, that's it. Didn't we already do this? You ignorantly dismissed my initial reasoning as inconclusive because the key hadn't been found yet. Location of this key has now been exposed by yours truly. You will observe that this removes any perceived flaw in my argument. I was completely right from the very beginning. All these redundant testimonies and arduous debates managed to change precisely nothing. Yay! At the very least, this should make for an elegant bookend. This trial will serve as a presentable allegory in the future. Of course, it always has to be about you being right. Then you will have no issue letting me put this argument to the test again. What a shame. I permitted you to go on this journey, but you haven't learned anything. And my generosity is finite. I have no patience remaining to keep playing with you. Any amateur should be able to identify this as forced mate, no matter your move. So we've got all the way back to square one. Yay. You gotta be kidding. I've lost all my cards and I'm once again stuck with no way out. There has to be something in all the things I learned during this trial. I just have to keep thinking. Something, anything that can blow a new hole in this case. Alright. Was there really only one gunshot, though? Mr. Poley begs to differ. Next to the TV, we can't even be so sure if the first gunshot was the real thing. We've been over why Mr. Poley's experiences are entirely irrelevant to this murder. Given our investigation of the lower floor, it's doubtful what he witnessed was real. Ah, yes, but Reaper, the past case, yeah, fuck off. TV had justly trivially dismissed with logic the victim was shot at while he was inside the study. While inside the study. The shot should have been audible, don't you think? It's speculative. I mean, the bullet could have been... Oh my god. Bullet traffickers, gun... I don't want to read this anymore. That's the... Quod aer demonstratum, that unreliable truth. Really, whoever was behind this was willing to go to some length to set me up. Yes, but they have somehow acquired a preferred bullet and then swapped it with the one I found. There are holes in the floor. I don't see how. Never actually fired this gun before and it weighs enough to notice if it was stolen. Never left it behind at home. Either. It's pretty much always been with me since I bought it. Which means I must have shot the victim after all, and yet... Locked room. There are two things we need to talk about here before you can go and conclude that. Firstly, was the door really locked? And secondly, how can we be so sure the key was in the room at that time? You are evidently choosing quantity over quality now. Like last time, we now have witness testimony establishing that nobody else approached the door. And that even if the door wasn't locked, it's inaccessible, still the door was definitely locked. Witness confirmed that as well, given they had to break it open. The only saving grace right now is that this music kind of slaps. Which means one of the two people must have opened, which must lock the door. The victim were you. Door stopper, oh great. What? I just assumed it was locked. How tedious. I have to remind you all of the evidence. Why are we having this conversation? I could Hey, now listen here, Gnu. I know a thing or two about busted doors. With a bit of initial resistance, they swing open faster than you can overcome it. This door is no different. I should have ruled out your asinine door stopper. Locked state. Frame is damaged. Locked door being broken. But locked after being broken down is presumably ruled out. How'd you know it's gonna type that? I'm so very smart and huge. I'm so really smart and galaxy-brained and intelligent, and you are a useless peon, Aurelia. Consequently trivial for me to administer prophylaxis to your chicaneries. Fine, but what if... God. I would be able to do that. And right next to him and everything else if I find him. I get what we have to do here, but... This is too much. Why are we doing this? You swallowed the key, yay! Because you are guilty, yay! For outside the room, yay! Why the fuck would we do that? Did not eat that key. Yeah. Neelan reached into your throat and threw in the key. Mr. Neelan? Who the fuck's Mr. Neelan? May appear capable of it, but it's hardly possible to aware of that fact. It's not concealed for this long. Yes, that's what it looks like, but... Can't do it. I think they have a way to argue against it. Judd doesn't look like he'll give me any more leeway. Was this really necessary? This is just gonna go nowhere. Was this really necessary? Assumed gunshot victim for being technical. Oh, great. Yeah. This is our recap. This is the clip show. This is the clip show testimony. I guess this is meant to be the clip show testimony, where we're recalling all of the earlier facts of this crime. Maybe they're going to become relevant again. I don't know. Maybe I should be focusing on this more. In the context of the current plot, this is mind-numbing. I can't stand it. So bankruptcy, yep. Really confirmed. Plaintiff approached. I never touched her gut. Yeah, she didn't shoot. Dr. Ellinger fired to get ballistic markings. Under observation. It was not fired before, so blah blah blah. I'm sorry. Oh, great. Alright. Ventilation shaft. Cover wasn't removed. An object could have passed through. Okay, what if undiscovered secret passage? What else we got? Now or never. We looked immediately dismissed. Oh hey, holes in the floor. Are we... what? There are holes in the floor? I wasn't aware of this. You have to try revealing the last irrelevant fact you still had. You're beyond desperate. Okay. Yeah, we're all out of leeway. Human skull on the bookshelf is suspicious as well. That does not make it relevant. Alright. Have they changed anything? Great. What? Oh my god. We're desperately trying to claim that the holes in the ground were suddenly guns. We have to collapse beforehand. It's like this spot where the 3 holes were repaired. What? Oh my god. It was important that the victims planned some... One second, yeah, alright. I just want to be through this. I'm sorry, I can't... I cannot commit the time. I don't want to there was still actual floor time the crime happened. We'll be able to cover them up later. She's right. Just listen to the boss music as I randomly reference the facts that are actually relevant, instead of the nonsense. Yeah. Holes existed before. And filled with photopolymers. And covered with carpet. These holes are old. Why would there be holes there? So I've had the study, or the incident. Something could have happened earlier on that caused bullets to be shot into the ground, and they were just plastered over. There's a trump card. Damn. Can't prove where these holes got plugged. Something to plug them after the crime. I can't argue they're relevant. Is that it? Yes, it is. Can we move on? It's only... That would be true if the gunshot was the actual cause of death. My goodness, you... Yep. Past considering that. Technically not disproving it means present to the display case. That's true. Could have been somewhere else. It could have been on something else. We did happen to use the display case as... I didn't like using the display case as the delivery method of the poison. I thought that was off base. Now it's been disproven, and now we're lost again. Where did it come from? We can't actually prove that. Did only touch the display case. Other auction. Okay, no. Twice. Yeah, alright, no. Played back by evidence, no. Definitely was more lenient before this key. Yeah, no shit. I've heard enough. Both sides have presented their arguments. Ms. Chase, it seems all the alternatives you are suggesting are easily dismissible. None of them could shake the fact that the plaintiff's case is frankly overwhelming. Key appears to be decisive proof of your guilt all by itself. You have any plausible explanation for this? Now be the time for it. Nothing. I had to resort to every theory I could think of. There's just no way to break your case. Give me a minute here. There are only 3 ways this game can end. You will win by either checkmate, resignation, or you running out of time. Take all the time you need. We're quite aware you're on the slower side. Your stalling is obvious. Oh boy. Oh, she literally ate the key. Just book her already. That judge is being way too patient. Probably got paid off. Oh boy. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Yay, yay, yay. Can we move on? Hello? Did you hear that? The average observers have opened their eyes and minds to the truth. We're only waiting on you now, Aurelia. No, I refuse. I refuse to accept it. This key. It's all because of that blasted key. I think this world has a rational explanation that this won't be the exception. Ooh? One of the queens of crime. I can figure this out. First glance, it may look like the key teleported into my body. Using logic, it simply means it was slipped past my notice somehow. Yeah, it's basically just another locked room situation, with me as the main guard. Well, we're talking about locked rooms. This key is also intrinsically linked to our crime scene. It's the only key that could have locked the door to the study. Okay, that's a cool effect. And this link is important. There's something I can deduce from this. The key entered my body before or after the door was locked. I should narrow down the time frame. One of these happened before the other. Before the other. The door to the study was locked. He was planted after the door was locked. The moment the key gets inside my stomach, it obviously can no longer be used in any doors. Okay, that is a cool effect. The study door was found in a locked state well before the key was retrieved. Paul said the key must have entered my body only after it was used to lock the door. The timeline goes like this so far. Enter the room, the victim enters the room, the door gets locked at some point. That established the next important step is the door being busted open. It's impossible to enter or leave the study before this happened. Before or after the door got broken? After? Right, the door got broken while she was still in the room. She would have been very aware of having swallowed a key. On which side the door is locked from, the key is stuck on that side until the door is broken. If we wanted to insert the key before the door got broken, it would have to be inside the room. It would require Mrs. Holden to get the key in my mouth and make me swallow it. I don't see how she could have done that while I was on the defensive with my gun pulled. Alright, locked from the outside. The key was planted only after breaking the door. Good to have our bases covered, but the tough part begins here. This implies that someone managed to smuggle this key into my mouth during these investigations and trials somehow. Wasn't really feeling like eating anything after the crime. I'm really positive I didn't willingly put anything into my mouth. It just sounds too ridiculous that anyone could make me stealthily swallow something. I'd pretty much have to fall unconscious or asleep for someone to do this. Did I? Well, I may have been a little out of it right after the crime. I'm sure there's no way I actually passed out without noticing. If that somehow happened, you'd have to be alone and be able to get pretty close to me. Trial's out of the question for that. Too many people watching there. Everyone I was ever left completely alone with, Colleen? Why am I always calling you Colleen? You're Celis. Lillian? During the investigation. Yeah, realistically, yeah, this might be a problem. The only one I was alone with for any significant amount of time was Lillian. And she obviously wouldn't do this. Not that I see how she'd have been able to. I reached a dead end. There's just no opportunity after the crime was committed. Let's backtrack. I thought my logic was solid, but I must have made a wrong assumption somewhere. Key was inserted through my mouth, key was inserted after the murder. I'll have to think about that one. Through my mouth, that's inserted? It was impossible because the whole premise was wrong. It's accepted the proof that there was a key inside me, but... Oh no. When I questioned the scan, that would explain the actual result in the bathroom. A key definitely got in my stomach. Through my mouth after the murder? Can't think of any decent opportunity to plant the key after the crime. Therefore, the assumption that it actually happened at that time must be wrong. Before the murder? That's right. Consider the bigger picture. What if it actually happened at an earlier point? How do we make this make sense? This directly contradicts my previous logic, though. But it's hard not to think of a way that its key got planted, even without considering those other factors. Might be some trick to lock the door without the key, or something. Let's ignore that for now, and just focus on the big problem. Before the murder? Did we eat anything before the murder? We did eat something. Yes, there should have been someone with a chance to do it. I searched my memory, recall everything that happened leading up to the crime. The concept is, this is what they used to accomplish it. We're really using the cake. Yes, I found it. I feel like you would have noticed eating? One way it could have happened. This cake, the Kova Strawberry Crisis. I bought this from Mr. Kova before we entered the tower. The key was very small. It would have been possible to hide it inside. When I ate that cake, it traveled into my body alongside it. We have no way to prove this. Victoria's gonna jump on us, but this is useless nonsense. Okay. Alright. Oh boy. I didn't know it would be like this. Alright, you have my attention now. I only want to defend myself. Is that wrong? My mistakes ever get documented. I want to indulge. I want to soothe these thoughts. Why can't my efforts ever pay off? You have my attention again, game. Do I deserve to be hated that much? Why do you all have to hunt after me? I'm trying to bend. Well, if you keep getting in the way. want to step forward, but the door remains closed. Maybe it did serve you right. Who cares at this point? I deserve that much after what I've been through. I want to move away from all this. I get rid of the noise in my head. See, I'm not the only one. This hole can't be filled before the filth is removed. Do I not deserve to know what happened? You're telling me I should have known. It didn't happen because of me. I would have brought this. It spared me this pain. Oh, wow. Oh, that hurts. Who? When? Why? How? Okay. Never meet your expectations. Can't you notice already? If your truth needs to be revealed, don't tell me otherwise. You didn't have to do this. I would have left you alone. I get what you're trying to do, but it didn't have to come at my expense. Why do you have to be here if on top of everything else? Stay out of my business. Did he already find them? You can't blame me for this as well. Think about him. Don't think about him. She is traumatized. The tower should have been torn down. What were you thinking? Would have been able to make up for so much with this kind of money. Why can't it be me? Is everything else? What does everything else manage to find what they're looking for? How can I be that carefree? It's unfair. Holy crap. Holy crap. All right. You have my attention again. I'm sorry for getting frustrated earlier. I didn't realize you had this kind of game waiting on me. Oh. He was inside the cake? How the hell is that supposed to help? How could he have predicted I'd even buy that cake? Could have bought cookies or nothing at all. How is hiding the key inside actually supposed to help? It's not like I swallowed the cake whole. I obviously chewed it. The key might be small, but it's still a hard piece of metal. Anyone would have noticed it if they bit on something like that. No chance I wouldn't have. This is the only thing that could have made sense, and it still makes no sense. I'm left with absolutely nothing. No, what am I thinking? It just means I'm still making too many assumptions. To think much bigger, you'll start making sense. On Earth, which of these silly preconceptions do I get rid of first? Oh. I can trust my memory? This is reality? I feel like I can trust my memory. You know what? Forget it. Just get rid of all. Oh, okay, fair enough. Get rid of all of them. You know Lillian can sort of stop time with her magical pendant. As far as I know, that power shouldn't be able to accomplish this. Who's to say there's no better version out there? And hey, maybe my memory is just straight up wrong. I've started talking to myself. This thing has probably driven me insane after all. Maybe Mr. Cova actually mixed some secret ingredient in that cake and I'm just tripping balls. No, I've got it now. None of this is real. Simulation theory. This key is a glitch in the Matrix. An intentional feature. A rip at the seams. There's no solution to this. Whoever is writing this story straight up forgot to think of one. Bigger picture? It doesn't exist. Everything is slipping through my fingers. Oh my god. Oh, my health is draining. Miss Chase? We're still waiting. What if you explain the fact that you swallowed the key? I didn't, Your Honor. I have no recollection of eating it. Would you care to elaborate how that makes any sense? I'm being framed. I'm afraid that's hardly a sufficient explanation. Really has finally understood she's run out of justifications. Shut up. Interesting to take longer to realize when they're in a grave situation. But you're aware of it now, aren't you, Aurelia? Out of moves that would allow you to avoid this fate. Oh, shut up. I've categorically entrapped you inside my mating net. What the fuck is this here? Not sure what to tell you. I didn't eat the key. Still working on the explanation. You're wasting your scarce mental capacities, and I think you know. The key could not have been in your body before you entered this building. Otherwise, the metal detector at the entrance would have acted. That's right. So the whole covert cake thing was BS. Could not have been put in your body during the auction, else the door could not have been locked. There's no way to feed you this key after the crime, not with several people seeing the act. Leaves but one time it could have entered your body while you were locked inside the study. Also, do not think of blaming Mrs. Holden. Our eyewitness here confirms she had no chance to do it. Thus, the inevitable conclusion appears. It's certain you swallowed the key yourself to conceal the locked room. Well, I didn't. No, nobody will buy that, so I guess you win. There you go. Hope you're happy. It seems this is everything that needs to be said. Even without the key, the evidence wasn't in your favor, Miss Chase. Neither arguments. His outcome was decidedly predestined. I risked my case. On the side of a cliff, and someone please Sparta kick it off the cliff. Any gods are listening. Why bother? I'm in a position to ask for miracles. Seems Miss Chase has nothing left to add, either. Very well. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This case is extremely clear, so you have no room for misinterpretation of the facts. What finds the defendant Aurelia Chase? Zawada? Bet you didn't see that one coming. You don't get to checkmate Aurelia on my watch. There you are. Shush. It's between me and Vicky right now. Do not dare call me that ever again. Contrary to what you think, your repeated interference is entirely within my calculations. I estimated 90% likely that you would show up again at the very last second. Make whatever meaningless point you are going to make. Yeah, right. Vicky, you really think anyone's buying this just as planned chess master act? Won't you in a pinch you abruptly deduce where the key was hidden in just one try? That's a little hard to swallow. Pun totally intended. Are you finished? I see no significance to your observation. In truth, I'd already deduced the key had to be hidden much earlier. I was really wishing Aurelia would spare me the effort of voicing such an asinine course of events. Nope, that ain't it. You had no idea where that key was, and there's no way you figured that out now. So how'd you suddenly know, I wonder? I'll tell you what I'm feeling. It's because somebody tipped you off. Somebody else gave you that idea. It's getting delusional, as I would have acquired such assistance. I solved this case all by myself. Don't you get it? Whoever told you about that key is probably the real culprit. The real culprit, I don't have to look for her. She's standing across the bench right across from me. Come on, Victoria, you know there's more to this. Tell us who gave you the idea. They were probably subtle about it. Put your stupid pride away and do the right thing just this once. And get all the credit. We'll sing your praises and stuff. Sounds good to me. As expected, there was nothing to be worried about. You may call yourself a queen, but you're still nothing but Aurelia's pawn. I've accomplished is to delay the inevitable by a few moves. Oh my god. Alright. Your choice to go down with this sinking ship tells us everything we need to know about you. You know what would have made this better in my eyes? Like, ditch the hopeless testimony. Go straight to the thought route. Go straight to the thought route from the key coming out and being tested. Just skip the hopeless testimony, go straight to that segment, because that was amazing. This chess timer, I also kind of dig. As much as that last test, as much as the first part of this video, and the end of the last video, has really soured me on things, this chess timer is neat. I kind of like that. Seriously, you should have known. This ship ain't sinking yet. Mark my words. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but nothing seems to have changed. Where were we? Verdict. Right. So I'm a little surprised I still get to go forward with it despite the interruption. Ah. Your Honor, I want to testify. Testify? About what exactly? Second murder, obviously. relevance. She couldn't have seen anything that pertains to our case. You can't know that. I swear this story's gonna blow your mind. Objection sustained. It's been made abundantly clear that the second murder has no bearing on this trial. As curious as I admittedly am, it will have to wait. Perhaps we shall get the opportunity in Lillian's inevitable criminal trial. Not that I would expect it to provide much of any particular insight or entertainment. You've got to be kidding. Really planning to lose to friggin' Victoria? Did you try your best? What is your next objection? Say something. I tried countering her argument. There's simply no opening. Really tried thinking of an explanation for the key. Trust me. As you saw, we don't have any justification to call any more witnesses. What else am I supposed to say? What else am I supposed to do? There isn't anything left I can say. No, can't end like this. I need to say that we underestimated Victoria's determination. She wasn't above pulling some dirty tricks to get back at me. I walked right into them. It's not the place for idle chatter. I would appreciate it if you would save it for after the trial. I'll be in just a minute, as it happens. Your Honor, you want to hear this? Step away from the stand, Miss Maristella. One more interruption and I'll hold you in contempt. You've stalled the proceeding for long enough. This court finds the defendant, Miss Aurelia Chase.
Objection.
Hmm? Really? Postpone that verdict for a mere minute. What is the meaning of this? You realize I was about to rule in your favor. You're right, Lillian. Trial can't end in this manner. It wouldn't be proper. Aurelia needs assistance. Wait, for real? Not in the assistance you think. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day. Let's go. Yeah, she's not going to do that. She's going to be on this hypertherapy. I'm better than you, and you know it, bollocks. Got the real culprit together. Don't conceive what I stated. Even though she has been thoroughly proven guilty, Aurelia still insists that she was framed. Alright. Great, here we go again, alright. Not only that, she can't help but accuse me of using what she can only perceive as unfair methods. The typical excuse of those that have refused to acknowledge their inferiority. It's abundantly apparent that she still has not learned the lesson I generously tried to bestow upon her. I will choose to amend this situation. You've already proven your case, Miss Preston. There's nothing left to do. The average chess player aims for checkmate. A state where the opponent's king can no longer avoid capture. How would I, Victoria Preston, be satisfied with such a trivial accomplishment? Anyone can checkmate. I shall aim for the impossible and capture the what the fuck. That doesn't answer the question. In more pedestrian terms, there is still something that has not yet been established. The motive. The motive? It seemed pretty apparent to me, given the circumstances. Bennett was caught and ended up killing Mrs. Holden during the resulting altercation. Preconceived notions of what stopped you from developing deeper understanding. Are you really going to try and claim that I went in there with the specific purpose of killing? What did really decide to trespass in the first place? That question still remains unanswered. Oh, that's quite true. We don't actually know that. If you think you can get me to say anything more at this point, forget it. It happens, your verbal revelations are superfluous. I naturally already have the evidence to decisively establish her. Of course you do. You have all of the shit. What? Nice kicks, Lillian. Order. Miss Preston, you have already rested your case. If you had any more evidence, you should have presented it before. Your motivations for being there did not seem, well, of course it did, to the crime itself. That in mind, I have no intention of submitting this evidence to the court record. My plan is merely to show it to Aurelia. I am certain that will suffice. Just get this over with. What do you want to rub in my face so badly now? What obnoxious cognitive dissonance. You still think there is no way I understood anything. Otherwise you would not want to push me. Is it not decidedly proper to say that this would not be desirable to you? No. No, why? How? How? How do you have that? It appears to have acquired your attention. Excellent. It was on the bookshelf. First thing I discovered. Nonsense. That was the first place I looked. It wasn't there. You should read some Sigmund Freud. And you would have immediately realized that the thickness of this did not match the page count of what it purported to be. I found it quite intriguing that only one book in that shelf was donning a false cover. My unparalleled mind swiftly guided me to the most valuable clue, of course. Get it now, it was you. You're the one who gave me that note. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Before this trial started, someone slipped a photo into the side room where I was kept. A photo of that, what? Book. Written words in the back advised me to stand trial or deal with the consequences. I kept asking myself why they hadn't just told me to plead guilty if they were going to blackmail me. Now it makes sense. That wouldn't have been enough for you. I wanted to prove a point. You had to actually beat me in this trial. What point would there be in proving my evidence superiority? Is this true, Miss Chase? You were compelled to agree to these proceedings? It's really her desperate next attempt to invalidate this trial. Not worth listening to. How tragic. I hope this would finally open your eyes. But I can't prove it now. It's pointless even if I showed the note. As a chronic glove wearer, it would have made sure there's no way to prove she wrote it. It doesn't give her any reason to open that book. What else do you want from me? You won fair and square. There, I admitted it. Thus it appears I'm starting to get through to Aurelia. Therefore, it almost seems worthy of being labeled the 13th Herculean trial. Now that you're beginning to be able to glimpse the light, I will impart some clarification. Understand that the reason I kept this book concealed was purely out of courtesy. There's a reason grandmasters handicap themselves when playing against amateurs. More importantly, I wanted to give you a chance to acknowledge the error of your ways. Without this, contents of this book, you wanted to keep them secret. There's a motive strong enough to cause the events that resulted in this murder. I don't think there's any secret that would justify a murder, but I will respect it. Miss Preston, I won't open this book, and whatever is inside, it will never be shown to anyone else. Really? There's no catch. There's one condition. You only overlook your dark past if you can face your crimes in the present. You have to confess. Only that will demonstrate you've learned since then. If you're that determined to keep this a secret, then prove it. It's your choice. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. You already won the trial. You totally humiliated me. Isn't that enough? What difference would this make now? Once you are merely feigning ignorance, I illustrated the difference. You're really not going to open that book. If you confess to the murder under oath, I will eradicate this book and never speak of it again. I swear it on the Preston name. This is a nightmare, but is there really a choice? All right, I'll do it. Your Honor, there's something I wish to do. Don't you dare confess! I don't know what's in that book, but it's not worth it. I should have known you'd try to stop me. I knew she was terrible, but blackmail? Unbelievable. Can't let her get away with this. I've already been proven guilty. In case you missed it, it's over. What difference does it make at this point? It makes a huge difference. I thought you'd get it now after what happened to Mr. Gart. What does it have to do with this? You want the truth, don't you? When we first talked about finding Mrs. Holden's body? I claimed it was self-defense, but I could tell. You were lying. What? Then how could you act like I'm not guilty? Because I knew. You never pulled the trigger if you thought you were in the wrong. You always put so much faith in me. You knew from the start that you didn't kill her. But you still thought it was your fault somehow and blamed yourself for it. Guess it must be related to whatever that book is about. Your hunches are scary as usual. I don't know how much good coming clean now will do, but here goes. By now it should be obvious that someone went to length to set me up for this murder. I understood that early on, but there are now much more telling elements. TV trick, the key, all of it required them to know that I was planning to search the study. In short, someone was involved who knew that this book, that I was looking for it. My past caught up to me in the end. So what? You're going to let them win because you feel you deserve it? That's not even the issue right now. I did all this because I hoped I could bury that thing. Can't let it be revealed. Not every truth is worth exposing. It's best for everyone to forget about it and move on. Objection. What? You say hiding it is best for everyone, but you also feel so guilty about it. It's a contradiction. Your actions don't add up. Those are not mutually exclusive. It's all just a mask, a wall. I've been talking to the real Aurelia because of this thing. You know there's no way this is for the best. The real Aurelia wouldn't stand for this. She wouldn't let the bad guys get away. She's still there whenever you found a contradiction in a testimony. I saw glimpses of her. I get that you're scared and worried. But you'll make the right choice in the end. I know it. Yes, Miss Chase? What is it? Real Aurelia? We can confess. We're gonna confess. Nice try. You tried to delude yourself into thinking this is actually a choice. Haha! Your Honor, I wish to confess. Damn it. What's it going to take? I'll slap you again. It just isn't happening, Lillian. I'm not resuming time again until you change your mind. Think about this logically. There are only two outcomes here. Outcome 1. I confess. I get declared guilty and Victoria destroys the book. Outcome 2. I don't confess. I still get declared guilty, but Victoria exposes what's in the book. We have to agree that one of these outcomes is objectively better. There's no outcome where I don't get convicted. Might as well take the one that's less terrible. You know there's no logic that could convince you. But, look deep into your heart. You know this is the right choice. It'll just hurt you more in the long run if you keep adding lies. Huh. You really will try saying anything to get me to do as you want here, huh? You're the one unwilling to face the situation. Stop trying to trick me into picking the choice that will make only you feel better. No, I'm doing this because I care about you. Say the truth is oh so much better. Can you actually handle it? With that stupid article I didn't even write? Oh, yeah. The claim to fame with the great Aurelia Chase was just handed to her by God knows who. Never should have published that damn thing. It hurt, you know? Whenever someone praised me for this and nothing else. Do you know what stung me even more? I tried with the truth earlier. I tried coming clean to you about that, just to see if it would help. The truth is that I'm a lousy journalist who chases after big scoops that never pan out. What happened when I told you that I never even wrote that article? No scolding, no questions, you barely even reacted to that reveal. I mean, there were more important matters. Oh yeah, definitely more important to you. You don't actually care about me. What you care about is just the real Aurelia Chase. Perfect version of me you've made up in your head. Ooh. You simply had to preserve that image of me no matter what. So you just ignored any evidence to the contrary. Oh no, she has a point. You, Sarah, even Claire, all of you think you can just keep putting me on a pedestal. I'm so sorry I can no longer live up to your expectations. I guess this is just a little too much to excuse away, huh? This imaginary Aurelia Chase of yours, that's the real lie you've been forcing me to keep up. The one who should finally face the truth is you, Lillian. Oh no. Okay, I give up. All I did only made things worse. I'm sorry for being such a bad friend. I won't bother you again. We have successfully pushed her away. I hope that's actually a choice that matters. My name is Aurelia Chase. This is my story. The story of how I tried to escape justice. Really tried, but it was no use. My sins ran too deep and I had to pay the price. The end. Yep. Is that actually the end? Okay, that is not the end. So change everything if we don't confess. We do get yelled at for pretending there's a choice. Nice try. Actually, a choice? Yep. Okay. That is in fact a false choice.